Well, good morning all. Welcome to the February meeting of the Whangamata Community Board. It's an online meeting for the public. Unfortunately, we can't have everyone in here. So I'd like to declare the meeting open and call for apologies. Do we have any apologies? Looks not. There are no apologies. Any items not on the agenda? No items not on the agenda. Do we have conflicts of interest? There's not. Okay, we'll go to item 4, the 1.4 minutes for confirmation. So these have been circulated and read. I'll move them, put them in order. Seconded by Kay. Is there any discussion? If not, I'll put that. All those in favour? No. Against? Carried. Moving on to the public forum, and we've got a number of speakers on the public forum today. And the first speaker we have is Len Salt.
He is not. Oh, yes, he's there. He's there.
And just remind.
I'm here. Hello.
Good morning, Len.
Good morning. Morena.
Yours, you have 5 minutes. So we've read a lot of your correspondence. So over to you.
Oh dear, I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to find out. All right, so I have a PowerPoint presentation. It's very short, but I'm going to try and share that with you now. And yesterday it worked. And Esther's got a backup in case it doesn't. Is that coming up?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Great. Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and community board members. The reason I've asked for some time with you today is because we are at a critical juncture in our solid waste management policy. And we need to have a conversation about this. This is a very, very important subject which is going to put in place policies and procedures which will be there for the next 10 years. So we have a unique once-in-a-decade opportunity to not only take community control of our waste minimisation targets and objectives, but to make a real difference to the volumes of waste that goes to landfill now and in the future for our entire district. So this graphic that you're looking at came directly from a document that was prepared in 2017. Terry was involved in the writing of this document, and along with Sally Christie. And it was a document, the Eastern Waikato Waste Minimisation and Management Plan, which was done in conjunction with Hauraki District Council and Whanau. And it's a very clear outline of the waste hierarchy, which starts with waste reduction, goes through to waste diversion, and then the last piece of the puzzle is waste disposal. Now, in parts of our district, we've actually made really good progress in achieving the objectives that are set out in this program. And those objectives have been achieved where we have in place resource recovery centres. And in our district, that is Thames and Coromandel. Where we don't have these programs in place and these facilities in place, and all of the waste that is handled is being done through private contractors, this is what happens. The whole thing gets turned on its head. Now, we've got an opportunity and the objectives and strategic outcomes were very clearly set out in this 2017 document. And those objectives were to achieve waste minimisation in line with what we're required to do by government, by the Waste Minimisation Act, by the Local Government Act. We've got an opportunity now to set ourselves on a path to make that happen. So the solid waste contracts are underway now. The tenders are going to be awarded in June 2022. The new contracts will start in about July 2023, and as you'll see, there's a 12-month lead time there for the new contractors to get geared up for whatever gear they need, trucks and whatever. The contracts...
Excuse me, Lynn, I think the wrong screen is sharing.
Oh, okay.
The page where you're changing the slides, can you click on the right slide on that screen? So when you've got your mouse on that screen is what's sharing.
Oh, okay.
So
is that better?
To the right, no, it's still showing the other. It's still showing the first page.
Oh, okay, all right.
They have got the presentation available for after the meeting, or I can share now.
Maybe you could share now, Esther, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm having issues at this end, so.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks better, Len.
Can't see
Oh, no,
that.
it's gone now.
There he is.
Okay. Can you share it, Esther?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank
sorry, Gail, can you turn your camera off until you come on, please? If you do that. Thank you. Thanks, Gail.
The technical issues will catch us out every time.
Well, perhaps if we can go through the slides later, Len.
Yep.
Esther will share them with us. If you're nearly out of time, if you just want to finish up with any key points.
Absolutely. So the objective that we're going for here is we would like community boards to, first of all, be aware that these contracts are under negotiation now, have a discussion as community board members, and then we would like to see a message going to council in the form of a resolution that the contracts for operation of transfer stations be removed from the tender process. Now, the reason for this is because by removing the transfer station operations from the contract and integrating transfer station operations with resource centres, we will start to achieve the objectives that we need to do for waste minimisation. We'll create full-time and part-time jobs. We'll have transparency over what's going on within this operation, and the benefits will begin to flow back into the community. So it's a big topic, I understand that, and I'm available for any questions, but I'll leave it there, and thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Len. I'll be looking to see if we can have a discussion at our April meeting. We can't discuss today, it's not on the agenda, but look to put in our action reports and see if we can have that discussion in April and make any appropriate decisions from there. So I think we all fully understand where you're coming from, but that'll be something we will discuss in April. Anyone got any questions for clarification? Thanks, Len.
Thank you.
Thank you. Plenty about the technical issues, but we'll get the slides from Esther.
It happens. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Next, we have Rob Boston.
It's online.
Welcome, Rob.
Good morning. Graham and I are here today to talk to the community board. Can I just get some clarification? I sent 3 documents through, and I spoke to Esther briefly yesterday. I was under the impression that I might have had time to speak to each one, but she said it would be 5 minutes for the entire 3. We can summarise this. We've got 3 topics. We just want to give the community board a report of where we're at with the pool and the refurbishment and the work that we're doing. The second was just to give you an update of where we're at with 101 Lindsay Road and talk to the application for the discretionary funding for our feasibility study. And the third was really just to give the community board a brief heads up as to what's happening with the Whangamatā Ratepayers Association and our upcoming AGM. I can just go through that, and if that's okay with you, but I just wanted to get some clarification before I started, if that's okay.
Okay, well, thanks, Rob. Well, understanding orders, it is 5 minutes, but we can, if we so choose, give an extension of time if there's more to come. But we do have, we've all received all your written documents, so you don't need to go through it verbatim.
Okay, well, I'll just provide.
I'd like to move that we give them extended 5 minutes and make it 10 minutes in total.
Okay. Okay, all those in favour? Aye. Against, carried. Okay, you've got 10 minutes, Rob.
Okay, I'll start with the pool. The refurbishment is progressing pretty well. We've completed the toilets and all of the changing rooms and the office refurbishment, and that cost around about $80,000, which was all raised outside of the TCDC money. That's just about completed. We had tremendous support from the local businesses. They've just been outstanding in the way that they've gone about supporting the pool with various things. We're just in the process now of tidying up the front on that Achilles roadside. There's a mural going to start this weekend, we hope. New signage, we're removing a lot of the shrubbery, and we're going to try and make it a lot more attractive as you come off that corner of Tui onto the pool. Our summer season, we had record numbers this year. The pool was inundated with people, probably 3 reasons. One was COVID, obviously, post-lockdown from Auckland, Tauranga, Waikato region. We got to the stage that we were limited to 100, and we often met that, and we had to put people on standby as to come into the pool. So our income has been pretty good. We've taken a lot of family passes, which is good for our income. We've running a little shop there now, which is also providing income. So for this part of the season, the summer season, it's been particularly successful. The COVID did cause a few problems for us with the attendance passports, but we seem to have weathered that storm. We had a little bit of pushback from members of the community, and it's certainly created difficulty with the conflict of interest that you have with the school, where there are no barriers to people who are vaccinated, whereas we've got the vaccine passport process underway with the pool. The Power Co, which we've been dealing with now for the last 2 or 3 months in trying to sort out a satisfactory system to get the transformer upgrade. We are now at the stage where we believe that the Power Co people will be ready to connect the power to enable the heat pumps to start up in April school holidays. We just got a bit of tidying up to do there. That cost that we incurred for the extra charge for that transformer did come as a fairly big surprise, and the original price that they were looking for was well in excess of 100,000. And this quote that's come in now is about 74. Power Co have offered to provide $15,000 a year on top of. They made a Power Co contribution of 16,000, which comes off the cost of the transformer. But they've also donated or made a sponsorship of $15,000 per year for us to train and recruit lifeguards, paid and volunteers, and also a 5K Learn to Swim water safety package, which we're most grateful for. We're going to get that underway in the winter months. We're working currently on the preparation work for the Learn to Swim therapeutic pool. We're talking to contractors, getting ideas on design. We've been looking at contractors for the maintenance, and there's some refurbishment work to do to the main pool. So we're working through that at the moment to try and get some firm idea of pricing and so on. We're looking to, if everything went well, we'd be looking to do that work in the July, August, September months. It would probably require the pool is closed for those 3 months whilst we do the work. So all in all, the pool's going pretty well. We're just a little bit concerned over COVID and what would happen if our lifeguards get COVID. We'd obviously have to shut the pool, but we're getting now towards the end of the main season. So sorry about that. So that's the pool. If anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to answer any quick questions.
Yeah, just Rob, well done to the committee and what you've done so far for fundraising. With the PowerCo sponsorship, is there naming rights they're getting under this? Is there?
No, the naming rights, we asked for a figure of somewhere in the region of between 40 and 60 grand, and they didn't pick up on that. The 15 grand is purely for training and recruiting lifeguards and water safety.
Okay, thank you. That's positive at any rate. Well done.
It's very positive. It's a big help because we do need to train and almost really employ lifeguards if we're going to be operating 12 months of the year, because our students disappear, of course. Just moving on to 101 Lindsay Road. This report is really part of that proposal for the feasibility, for the discretionary application for the feasibility study, but it results in a meeting we had up in Coromandel with Mike Noonan. Group of us went up there and we spent 2 or 3 hours with Mike. He was most open about how he put together his operation, and you'll see there's a series of notes there. He shared a lot of his information, gave a lot of advice, and one of the things that he did talk to us about was that he believes, well, it took him 12 years to get his operation to where it is now. He believes it would probably take us 5 years to get our operation underway if we manage to retain the land. But he did talk to us about the need to have a professional feasibility study, and most of the information that you've got in that paper is regarding that. The working group, I believe, his personal view, is struggling to keep up with progress, to push it along as much as we should be. I think that the feasibility study is crucial for the way that this project needs to move forward. And Tony Kane, who we've asked to carry out the feasibility study, did the feasibility study for Mike when they were working on their program. You've seen a copy of his proposal. It's very detailed, it's very thorough. And I believe if we had that document, that would really be a great catalyst for us to push forward and get more support from the community. Certainly would help us with the council, I believe, in terms of where we're heading. And so main thrust of this paper here was just to reinforce how important it is that we can develop that feasibility study process. We've applied through Sarah Halliday and the Community Services Trust, and she's added an application to Trust Waikato for $21,000, and we've also put that application into you guys for that $5 grand. We know that your coffers are nearly bare with the discretionary funds, but we fingers crossed. So all in all, that quote from Tony Kane was about $25,000, and that's what it would cost for the feasibility study. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer questions, or Graham and I can answer questions on where we're at with 101.
No, that's all right. Move on. Yeah.
Okay, so finally, and this is really just a heads up for the community board regarding our ratepayers AGM, and I've sent you, these are the national, regional and local level issues that we believe are going to continue through into 22 and beyond. Certainly the three waters is something that the ratepayers are concerned about, and local government reform if it comes into being. At regional level, certainly talking to people like John Spencer about the shoreline management plan and how that's going to affect the local community and the regional coastal plan. But at local level, been a lot of talk about how our town is experiencing this unprecedented growth and development, and that we understand that there is talk about developing or seeking funding for a spatial plan, and we certainly welcome that if it comes to being. We certainly support Len Salt and his initiative with the community operation for refuse transfer stations. We think that that is a very positive step. The issue of mangroves, of course, is still ongoing, and that will be ongoing for a long time until we get some resolution from the Waikato Regional Council. And so the items that are in that agenda will all be available for the members of the Ratepayers Association to discuss this coming Saturday. We've invited Terry, Gary and Ken, who have confirmed that they will attend. And the idea is that we will run the AGM very formally in the first part, and then really just give people present a chance to talk to our councillors and community board members, ask questions and for feedback to be provided. So that's really a summary of the ratepayers side of things. If there's any questions, again, I could answer those.
No, you did well, Rob. That's 10 minutes is up. No time for questions. But thank you.
Very
We
good.
exactly right. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Rob. Next we have Gail Gilbertson.
That's hard work, yeah.
Welcome back, Gail. The floor is all yours. You have 5.
Okay, good. Thank you. You've all got the sheet of my subjects. The Williamson Park Path to Nowhere, we do get a lot of queries. Sorry, this is on behalf of the ratepayers. We do get a lot of queries as to what it's for. I wondered if it was the start of something and if there's more to come, you know, like more pathways feeding from that. But I do understand that it's something to do with the little break in the road that's there, but I don't quite understand it. Maybe it was from quite some time ago that it was discussed and agreed on, but I certainly haven't seen anything about it. My second issue is the bikes, scooters, etc. on the footpaths, and I brought this up in June, and I was told there was no complaints received, so therefore there was no action. There may be no complaints to the official people, the police and the community board, but I'm hearing plenty of complaints about people, and we understand bikes on footpaths anywhere else but the main street. It's ridiculous. And I've seen families, you know, mum, dad and the kids all biking down the main street where there's plenty of other people around. And I really do feel that it should be stopped. I would like to see the signs back on the footpath or some sort of signage, because as people have said to me, then at least if they stop somebody and say, you know, this is not on, it's not allowed, and if they say, you know, well, there's nothing to say, you can point to the sign and say, well, there it is. So we need something to sort of back us up, basically. The new street lighting, where did it go? I did have a look through some of the paperwork, and there was a budget of 48,000. Has that been used up, or is there further plans in this financial year and then next financial year? I did see the Tuna Place, Onimana, Wattle Place and Chevron, and I'm not sure if that's still to come or whether that is where some new lighting has gone. The Esplanade Walk, I'm still not getting any favourable reactions from people regarding that. Most people that I talk to are very happy with the grass as it is, and the expenditure, I don't know what else we've got after the last amount that I was told, the 35,000. I don't know if there's any more gone to that, but I just don't really see the point. And in my discussions with other people, that they all endorse what I'm talking about, that they're very happy with the grassed area. Rob's talked about the AGM. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was I understand there's 20,000 available for a shore cleanup. Now, I would really be interested in that money going towards our local community groups, rather than seeing any sort of commercial outfit stepping in. So I really need to talk to somebody about that and just find out exactly what is required. The ratepayers, we would be quite happy to take that on as a project and involve community groups and make sure that they get, you know, payment for their input. But we're just not exactly sure as to what area you're talking about, whether you're talking about the whole lot or just the area that was burned or whatever. So if somebody could contact me, I'd be happy to have a discussion about that. And gosh, I don't know, Ken, how am I going?
You've got about 20 seconds left.
Oh, God, look at that, perfect. Any questions?
Looks not. We hear your messages loud and clear. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you.
See you on Saturday.
Yep.
Now we have Helen McCabe.
Hello.
Hi, Helen. Welcome. The floor is all yours. You know the procedure.
Thank you very much. So the Whangamatā Resource Recovery Trust, I just thought I'd give you a little update of what we've been doing lately. Aside from the work we're doing towards the working group of the Road Community Hub, we have, you will probably have a copy of our strategic plan in front of you, hopefully. And it lists there what we're planning on doing for the next couple of years. Now, establishing a centre in Whangamatā for resource recovery is a key thing in there. What we've been doing without any place to be so far is we had our first e-waste recycling drive, and it was successfully achieved with a volume of around 8,000 kilos being collected in 8 hours to fill 20 pallets, which were sent to the waste recyclers in Auckland. Now, we have a second recycling drive scheduled for the 5th and 6th of March. So we had great feedback from the community and asking when the next one was and how to go about it. So this is on a temporary spot, not on the cover, so we're praying for good weather. But that is just something that's we're getting on with. Also, in the past 18 months, we've been working the compost to go swap a bottle for kitchen scraps service, just to highlight to the public just how much in the way of food waste is put in blue bags and into the dump. So we've, over 18 months, approximately 80,000 kilo of kitchen scraps have been diverted from that curbside collection blue bags in Whangamatā, and that's through our local compost to go swap a bottle service at 11 swap locations. So you can clearly see, and that's just with a few hundred bottles, you can clearly see there's a real need for food waste initiatives to be acted on. In the next few months, we will focus on New Zealand's recycling initiatives for soft plastics and polystyrene packaging. Again, a big one, and we will facilitate collection and delivery to get it to nearby receiving points for reuse and repurposing. We'll be working alongside local business in that regard. All these initiatives and others are implemented, as all these initiatives and others are implemented and expanded, the need for a resource recovery centre is more and more necessary in Whangamatā. And we do thank you for the support of the TCDC and the community board so far for the work we've done. We ask that the TCDC continue to do so in the coming months by following the waste management strategy of 2017 during the process of its solid waste contracts and subsequent council decisions. The strategy describes the vision as to minimise waste to landfill and maximise community benefit, as well as engage local community groups and organisations to actively promote waste reduction. That is in the council waste strategy. We can do so much more, having a place to be, having a resource recovery centre, and having a presence at the transfer station to divert waste. There's so much more, as you'll see on the strategic plan, that needs to be addressed, that cannot be handled by op shops. Things like construction waste is that's a biggie. The proposed community hub is a key component towards the success of the strategy and others. That hub will strengthen the strong collaborative work being done by our local community groups for the benefit of all our people and our environment. And we urge you to talk with council staff, and make decisions that support that strategy. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. Any questions for Helen?
Just a quick one to say, Helen, well done with that e-drive. It's fantastic. How much did you collect in the end? How much did you have a number?
About 8,000 kilos on 20 pallets.
Fantastic. So that's going to landfill. Well done.
Thank you, Helen.
Stays out of landfill, and there's so much more out there. We just know it. We can the eagerness of people afterwards, ringing me afterwards and asking when the next one is just confirmation of just how people want to do the right thing and are holding things back in order to find the right way of getting rid of their waste.
Yeah, it's good to hear. Okay, thank you, Helen.
Thank you.
And the last thing for the public forum, it's not a speaker as such, but I had a letter from Colin and Marilyn Parker regarding the access to the at the estuary. I think all members have had a copy of that, but I'll pass it on to staff so that they can follow up with the Parkers and community facilities team. So just put that on the record.
I see they've offered some money, and would the main shed be interested in doing something like that, Eileen?
It's something that community facilities will follow up on.
Okay.
Okay. So someone like to move the public forum? Moved by Kay, seconded by Tamsin. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Right, moving on to item discretionary grants 2.1. As you'll see, we've had requests from 4 applicants, and the requests are unfortunately more than we have available in the discretionary fund. So $14,144 is what we have. The applications are $18,950. I'll open up for discussion.
My proposal would be 75% of all of them to reach the remaining funds.
It's probably an equitable approach, yes.
So sorry, what was that you were?
I would propose 75% of all of them. I think that reaches the remaining of the funds available.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from, but I prefer that the multi-sport club receive the amount that they're asking for, because it was on a cost-sharing basis, and unless we give them the 8.4, it's not going to happen. So my thinking is that we keep that 8.4, and then regarding that one, there's the ability to pro-rata or whatever, but I would be supporting the multi-sport, get the 8.4. Leave the discussion for the others. Terry.
Yeah, we discussed this yesterday, because the Whangamata Community Service Association application's also got one for the Tyraw for $6,000 odd, and we looked at that and understood that this particular one was more an art focus, and the Creative Coromandel Arts Focus grants come out in March, and felt maybe this give this application this time through them. We'd certainly support it, but the wood carving one incorporated the schools from Hikawai and Tyraw. Poetry and Whangamata. We thought that was far more inclusive, so the full funding was given to them for that. And as the chair said, that there's 2 projects in here which really rely on that funding, and that's the multi-sport and the resource, the $5,000 of the resource cycling for the feasibility study. So that's the way I looked at it, and I thought we certainly wasn't going to see the Whangamata Community Service not get money. We found some money, and this was another way of making it happen so we can get these other 2 projects off the books and action.
It's possible that if they don't get money through that application in March, that would be something that we could consider under the community grants later in the year as well. It's possibly, in my view, it's not as time important as the others who have it. We want to get things moving, especially around 101 Lindsay.
It's still around community need though, isn't it?
It is, and I'm not saying it's not important, but there are a couple of other avenues which can be used, whereas if we want to get that multi-sport one going, this is the only source of funding to get it going now. Giving them 75% is not going to cut the mustard.
Could I suggest we look at doing the complete one for the multi-sports and for resource recycling, and hold off on the community services youth visual one at this stage, and drop the Whangamata Theatre Society by the 50, and that makes
drop it down to the balance.
Yeah.
I do note for the mountain bike park, they talk of a 60-40 split, community board 840 and then 5,600, whether we made it a 50-50 split. They clearly have funds, and
so they've had to dig into these funds for these ones, though.
Well, that's true, but I'm just trying to think the equitable for all parties.
Yeah, from me reading the proposal, it's not saying it's take this or leave it and nothing happens. It's just a proposal, right?
For the multi-sport club. I know they're very much conscious of the fact that this is a deal that supporting the 101 Lindsay Road project by removing the clay and then taking it on. They now got to get a digger at the other end and do the work at the other end. So this only takes the clay off the site and take it out there. It doesn't do anything about forming what they want to do out there. So they've got more costs coming down the line for this.
I just mean if we were doing 75%, then that would equal about a 50-50 split.
Well, I think the arrangement's been discussed, so that's what we're at the moment. I'd support what Dave was trying to get as a position to move this project forward. So I'd be happy to second his. So
what I understand, Dave, you're moving that the multi-sport gets 8,400, the resource and recycling gets 5,000, and the Theatre Society gets $744, which is the balance.
That's not really the balance. I thought that the Theatre Society would get 1,195.
No, because 8,400 and 5,000 is 13,400, which leaves you $740.
Okay, all right.
You're in the same school as me,
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, so that's what I would.
And that's been seconded by Terry. I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
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 Against?
Abstain.
Gary's abstaining. Okay, carried.
Thank you.
Now we've got the Croquet Club. Oh, sorry. Bruce Hinson has another appointment to go to, so if the board is happy, we'll go to the work program now and do it slightly out of order. So if people comfortable with that?
Is that 4.2?
Yeah. Okay. So put it in order. I'll move that. Second by Terry.
Yep.
Open up for discussion. Oh, sorry. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Okay, Bruce. Good morning.
Morning. Thank you. Thank you for your flexibility and indulgence with that, Board Chair.
We're very flexible.
Happy to present the work programme and answer any questions that members may have.
Okay, we'll go through it page by page. Any questions on the first page?
Yeah, it's
Yeah, so Bruce, I just want to, it's really great to see that the Whangamata pedestrian cycleway is looking to start.
Yes.
I just want to make a comment if I can, please. The discussion in the comments is that they are going to commence the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a slope going up that hill.
Yeah.
But what we don't want to do is have a set of stairs and not a trail, in other words.
Sure.
So up the hill, on the practice that I've seen discussed with some of the people, is that they want just a basic rail up the centre, stairs one side and a trail the other side, no stairs. So people can run and push their prams, etc. And other people who want to walk and can't handle the hill will walk up there. If they can just have that approach made for the discussion, because if we put stairs all the way, it would become unworkable, if you understand what I'm trying to get to.
Totally understand. Yeah, I've seen that arrangement that you're talking about, Terry, and I understand exactly what you're talking about. So I'll follow up with the team on that.
Thank you.
Just on the boardwalk, Bruce, one of the key parts of the design that the board was signing off on included showers and new furniture, etc. That hasn't been discussed with DOC or agreed by DOC, is that correct?
I believe that's correct, yeah.
So why wasn't that done at the same time while you had them in the room, rather than having to go back and do the work piecemeal?
I don't have an answer for that, sorry, Ken, but I would imagine it's probably about trying to expedite the boardwalk. And as you know, it's taken us a long time, much longer than anyone would have wanted to try and get to this stage. So I think in the end of the day, it's probably around expediting it and trying to keep things as simple as possible. And that's, where we've ended up with the concrete nodes, and having to drop those initially and just get on with a timber boardwalk only. But again, that's just my assumption. I don't have the real detail from the team on that. Sorry.
Okay, now as long as the showers and furniture aren't forgotten about.
Yeah.
Sorry, through the chair, if it's like for like, do we still need DOC approval? So the fact that there's
we were putting in a new shower.
But there's already a shower there, so if we're just upgrading an existing facility, do we still need DOC approval?
Really depend on what's on the ground and what arrangement is in place. I'm not sure of the level of detail. I don't know the detail around exactly the land status that those toilets and showers are sited on. So again, that could be a bit of an issue that we need to work through, which that could be driving the need for the consent. I'm not 100% sure.
There's no toilet there.
Yeah, just showers.
Just showers, okay.
Yes, just showers, and we're replacing some of the tables that are there now with new tables. So you're probably right, it is a sort of a like for like. There's nothing substantive in terms of what we're doing.
But very
Yeah, we don't want it not to be done.
Don't want them lost. Understand. I'll follow up with the team and see if we can make that happen as easy as possible, because we definitely have taken a long time to get this far, so we don't want to drag it out any longer if we don't.
If it could all be done at the same time, it will just make it easier rather than having to come back later and do it that, which we, yeah. Okay, anything else on that page? Okay, moving to the next page. So we're talking about street lighting separately. How are we getting on with the footpaths, Whangamatā and Williamson?
Which one was that? Sorry, Ken.
Footpath construction. Designs have been completed, work to be scheduled. When's that going to be scheduled for, do you know?
Got an email here. I'm just trying to find it while we're chatting from the team. I you'd ask that.
It's from the bottom.
Yep. So they've gotten out recently, and we anticipate they'll be done early April.
Early April. Okay, thank you.
Bruce, just in relation to Island View area, the parking of vehicles on the shore side of on the water side of that road is something that is occurring quite regularly now. And I wondered whether a broken yellow line could be put from Pippi Road on the left-hand side around to the beach access at the end to stop vehicles parking there.
Yep, I can get the team to have a look at that. I might get them to connect up with Eileen and make sure that we've got the right details from you on that, Dave, and then they can have a look into that and come back with some feedback.
Thank you very much.
Kieran.
I just want to make a quick note of the fact that we've opened up 2 water treatment plants and a 3rd one to follow, and just a vote of thanks to the staff and the contractors, Bruce, for the work they've done. It's very professional, and it's a real asset for the ratepayers of Whangamatā to enjoy. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, it is. It's thank you for that, Terry. It's one of those things that the majority of our customers never ever see those plants. They just turn on their taps and the water comes out. But you're right, it's fantastic to be moving ahead and getting those new plants installed and built in Whangamatā.
Okay, any further questions on that page? Not moving to the next page. So the 3 public conveniences, they all talk about preparing consenting documents.
Mm-hmm.
When are we likely to be seeing construction start on those?
Stand by.
Can't hear you.
Can't hear you, Bruce.
Yeah.
I'm very quiet. No, can't hear you.
About now, have I dropped off?
Yeah, now,
Yeah.
better.
You hear me now?
Yeah.
That's better.
Shout at my computer. Yeah, I don't actually have the details on that. Sorry, Ken, but I'll come back to the board with the answers on that.
Okay, I'm aware how much work's required to build these things, and we're now getting towards the end of February, and we're keen to see them done this financial year.
The actual builds normally happen pretty quick. So with all the other toilets around the place that we've been doing, the construction happens very rapidly. A lot of stuff comes ready to go. It's really all the prep work ahead of time around consultation and site works and design. So once that's done, then the actual toilet construction is pretty rapid.
Okay, and the Martin Road ones have been done in conjunction with the dump station, so that's all on track.
Part of that is closed, so there's no Bruce at present because of the fire.
Say again, sorry, Dave.
Part of Martin Road toilet is closed because of the fire.
Yes.
We had a fire there where they lit the toilet container, plastic toilet container,
Yeah.
a fortnight ago.
Yeah, that was ideal.
Yeah, they've closed it and they've made the other toilet a unisex.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, everything's
Okay, come back to us just with the time frames there, that'd be good. Okay. Nothing else there, move on to OPEX.
Just with item view, is there an opportunity to replant the kahutakawa?
we can look into that. Yep.
The one that they're chopping
The
down?
small, but
You'll have problems with weed.
Plant a new one, yeah.
I'll take it, but it's better than.
You want it, it's yours.
Better than killing a tree.
They won't want it planted. It'll be cut down.
yeah, plant the whole park and tall trees. Not.
Moving on.
Okay, OPEX. Anything there?
I just make a comment if I can. I see Eileen put out a note about the Whanau Harbour clean-up where Rob Corporal from WRC, Lou Mackwell and Kerry Gibb are getting together to look at that clean-up. And there was a concern in the public forum this morning about a volunteer group doing that. Well, the Harbour Care's involved with that, but it's a lot of machinery involved and stuff like that. So it's a bit of a scale above the normal community groups work. So it'll be great to see that finally sorted out along there when it's done.
With the centres, Were they cheaper this year or they just haven't been taken down?
They've been taken down.
They've gone.
Oh, I just mean the bill for taking them down.
The bill for taking it, it'll be still the same.
I'm just wondering, is there leftover money?
I haven't got the bill for the takedown yet.
Okay, if there's no further questions, I'll move that.
Okay, like just one before you do it.
Okay.
Okay, so it just goes to the Whangamatā bus link investigation. So we had some money in our budget to do some online consultation over setting up a transport link between Taira, Whangamatā, Waihi and Thames. It's come to pass that WRC, Regional Council, are actually putting a request through their annual plan to set up a transportation link right across the whole Coromandel and right back to Hamilton. So I think we should just hold off on this until that's done, because if that's done, this won't require our work put in there. So it would be best not to spend money at the moment. Is that okay? That was from Ed yesterday. He was upgrading us on that, so it makes sense that they're running that program, and if they get it across the line, then it'll all be done and dusted.
Yep. So that means we won't spend the 10,000.
No, we'll hold off on that.
Okay, so I'll move that. It's been seconded by Terry, sorry. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. Good luck.
He's got a tie and a jacket on.
I know, it's very flat.
I know why that.
Right. Okay, where were
Are you back to the croquet club,
To the Croquet Club, was it?
isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Item 2.2.
2.2.
2.2, someone like to so move? No one would like to move? I'll move. Seconded by Gary. Okay, open it for discussion. There's no discussion, so
What's this? What's this?
Croquet Club.
Yes, happy.
All those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried.
Sorry, was it to approve?
Yes.
Two options. Perfect.
Approve the whole amount?
Yep.
Yeah. Approved, sorry. Now we go on to 2.3, the swimming pool. And we have the resolutions there. Someone like to move that?
I'll move that.
Yeah.
And you're going to approve all or under two?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it's fantastic job that this group's doing, and the money they've actually arranged and got themselves. The negotiation with PowerCo is so professional that PowerCo came back and said that they were very, very pleased to work with them, and they ended up actually contributing to the pool's future, which I thought was fantastic. If you've been down and had a look at it, it's just amazing what they've done, and they've got a huge mural going on the wall now that they've organised with local contractors to pay for, and the numbers in the pool are growing. So all in all, fantastic job, really.
And they've done a lot of outsourcing.
Yeah, cool.
I just want to make a point that a couple of words are being left out in the expenditures for both years, where it says rating impact of $65. It should be saying too, for each rating unit.
Right.
It's up in the line above, but for each of those, it's $65, as well as the second part is that it's the rating impact is for per rating unit.
Per rating
It's
unit.
not cheap on top of what we've done before, but anyway, I think we're all supporting this
It's a great
together.
community project.
Yeah.
May not be so welcoming if they come back with four.
Well, I just think this is for the benefit of the whole town, and you'll see this thing really grow, and bringing groups from out of town, and people do water polo training there. They have schools coming down and use it. There's a local surf lifesaving use it. It's a real asset.
Place to swim when there's sea lice.
Yeah, great swim when there's sea lice. That's right.
Okay, so Kay's moved 1, 2 that we approved the full 60,000, and 3 that we recommend to council included in the annual plan.
Yeah.
Seconded by Tamsin. Put that, all those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Rightio, 2.4, annual plan request, future
We
planning.
have Leslie online.
We have Leslie online. I'll open it for discussion. I'll put the first part that we received the report, and seconded by Kay. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. So we've received the report. Now I'll open it for discussion. Welcome, Leslie.
Good morning, elected members. Nice to be with you today. This report, as it sets out, Councillor Walker raised this at the council workshop earlier or last month, we actually, while I want to say quite clearly, we support future planning for Whangamata and across the whole district, but we want to see that go forward in an integrated way, where there is funds for the planning project, sufficient funds, that we take a district-wide approach, and that we integrate the planning for land use with the provision of infrastructure, and we time that and stage that so there's certainty for the future. So we actually don't support this one-off initiative for Whangamata at this time. Happy to discuss further.
Any comments, Terry?
Yes, thank you, Leslie. Thank you, comments. I think, Leslie, the council was supportive of this, and it was after you spoke to us after that there was no resource to support this within the council. Was a concern to us, obviously, because this is something that the community has been looking for years. In 2016, we approached the annual plan then and asked for spatial planning there, and they came back with a report saying, no, all we'll do is we'll increase the extra density in town, and all that's done is wreck the stormwater project for town, and we get flooding. So this has been on the plate for quite a long time. I go through the spatial plan of archaeology, landscape, urban design, ecology, geotech, transport, culture, zonings, area reserves, transportation. There's lots in a spatial plan and a lot of money involved with it. $50,000 is a drop in the bucket, but we want to get this thing going and look at it, as the Mayor said to us at the meeting, focus more on the rezoning and land opportunities you've got, and the spatial plan will follow. So we want to get this thing going where we use local input from urban design people, from surveyors, from the talent around town, and if we get this $50,000 across, we'll use that to buy in the support we need, because the resource is not with council. So I'm a bit passionate about this, but I think the town has got a huge issue with short-term accommodation, staff that people who run business can't get staff, and they can't run their business on it. We've also got issues around the camping ground, which is completely gone, and we've got to look for some possible lands before it gets scooped up again by another developer for the future. So we're looking down the road a short distance to try and consider that. And of course, housing. Whangamatā is restricted on housing, so we've got to focus on it. It's not a full spatial plan focus. It's a focus on the key things that we want to do, and that will feed into a spatial plan when that funding does come around the corner, hopefully in the next long-term plan.
Leslie, I support what Terry says there. It is a great concern, and everybody you speak to in town that's got a business are saying how they cannot get staff because of the fact of accommodation. There's families that are leaving the area. The schooling has been interfered with because there's no accommodation, and there's definitely a concern about what happens when the motor camp closes, as far as where people are going to stay for there. So I think that it's gone on, and we should put a stake in the ground and say that we are going to start with this, and it will support any other future ones that are done future studies.
Yeah, through the chair, I think the issue is that when we were discussing the strategic plan, or the spatial plan, we weren't able to demonstrate, other than anecdotally, that Whangamata was experiencing a huge amount of growth and needed to be included. And so it feels like we're being pushed into this position that we need to fund it ourselves just to be able to have evidence to demonstrate what we're already saying, that we need to be part of the bigger picture.
Any other comments?
Well, I just want to also,
What you had your say.
oh no, just quickly with Leslie, just a point, Leslie. Leslie, when we go to the government, we come back with negative growth. And they say Whangamata is not growing. It's not a town that's growing because your population's not growing. And we know that's not right, because we've got a whole lot of changes here because they don't take on board the non-resident ratepayers and the benefits they bring to town and count it in the mix when it comes to funding for wellbeing and those kind of issues that the government support. So we need to paint this picture like Tamsin's saying, so people understand that, yeah, we certainly may not be growing our population permanent, but we are growing as a town, and the mix is changing from a non-resident to a partial resident to a let's have 3 days, 4 days a week here and some in Auckland. So the lifestyle changes of COVID are really kicking in, and we're seeing those people stay a lot longer during the year than just 2 weeks over the summer.
Okay, well, Gary.
Well, we've got the problem that we've got such a high non-resident population here, which is ignored by the government. As you can see with the Three Waters, how the payment that's being made is only based on the permanent. And that's what I tried to get all the 6 councils who are in a similar situation to join forces to say this is the payment we're getting is just unrealistic because these other people have properties and otherwise. So they are here, and of course they are vacant for quite a bit of the time, those ones, but in reality, it is a growing population. Those places can't be used by people who are coming in to stay and provide the work. And it's actually self-evident that it's needed. It's as simple as that. Yeah.
Through the chair, I don't disagree with any of those comments, but as set out in the report, I don't think that the budget that you're setting aside is actually going to give you what you'd like. It might identify areas for growth, but as Councillor Walker pointed out, there's quite a lot of work that goes into identifying what the most suitable areas for growth might be, and I don't know that this budget is going to get you where you want to be. I also don't think that the project would be completed in this financial year, so that, you know, and I do not disagree with you when you say that we need to plan for the future of Whangamata, and we have housing supply issues.
Leslie, if I can just quickly comment on that. Andrew Holden, who was a planner with the council in 2016, wrote a very detailed report, very detailed. So we've got a lot of good information to back it on the demographics, the biometrics, the understanding of how lifestyle and things like trying to get not retirement, but lifestyle units, lifestyle packages come in and how they affect it. So there is a lot of supporting information. We're not starting from zero. So we're just actually trying to capsulate where we think the energy should be put.
Okay. The other point that I've made before is that you might zone land for whatever activities, commercial or residential, but the critical thing is funding the supply of infrastructure to that land, and that's the other part of the puzzle. You can zone land for any activity, but if you don't have that infrastructure provided in a timely way, you don't get the development. And if you don't have a developer who wants to develop, you won't get the development.
Agree totally.
That is the issue as well.
So we've done the infrastructure plan of it. We've got reports from the water side saying that the water situation is suitable to grow the town. We've done the wastewater plant that's rated for 48,000 backsides continuously. So we've got the energy or the capacity in the wastewater plant. It's the stormwater is the issue, but it's more around town where the existing dwellings are. It's not out in the outside areas where we're thinking of expanding.
Okay, now
through the chair. Also, I don't know about anyone else, but we find that if we don't start it ourselves, what happens when they start talking about district is we get totally left out of any sort of future planning. and Whangamatā just stays as it is. So we want to get proactive and do our own, at least get it started, which we've been trying to do for I don't know how long.
In this days, it's intended to inform the long-term plan and then the regional spatial plan, when we already know that Whangamata was left out of the regional spatial plan. So
We're often left out.
Through the chair, Leslie, recently I went up to Coromandel to have a meeting with them up there with the community people, and it was amazing to hear what they have got in their town that we never get here, as far as retirement village, land that's offered to them by the council for them to grow on, and they employ 48 people, I think it was, there for the different types of interest and structure that they're putting in. We don't have that advantage down here, and we're limited in relation to land. So I think that it's about time that we got some of that, not cream, but what we deserve for our people. Everybody keeps on asking what do they get for their rates and what future planning we've got. We're going to have to justify to our residents in October this year when council come up what we've done and what's going to happen in the next 3 years. And we've got to have something that we can say to them that this is where their money's going.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. I'll just make a comment. I haven't spoken yet. I can see where everyone's coming from, and I fully support a spatial plan being developed for the Whangamata in the next long-term plan. I'm just a bit concerned that this is somewhat of an ad hoc approach, and I'm not convinced that the 50,000 is actually going to get us what we want. But I appreciate I'm a minority view on this, but that's just, I just wonder at the end of the 50,000, are we going to sit down and say, is this giving us all we want, or there are a whole lot of pieces of jigsaw puzzle just weren't there? So without having done a comprehensive spatial plan, I just think that we might be throwing away good money. But anyway, I'll leave it at that. So at the moment, we've received the report, and does someone want to move a secondary report, which is either approve or decline the request to be included in the annual plan?
I'll move to approve it.
You move to approve it, and seconded by Dave. I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? No. Carried on the voices.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
because that's now been approved, does this need to go as a recommendation to council?
That's
So we need to
all
add point 3.
Point 3, okay.
Recommended.
Recommended be included in the annual plan.
Yeah.
So we can move and second that.
Okay.
So you need to move and second.
Move and seconded for that. Kay
Yeah.
and Tamsin. Okay. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Right. Moving on to 3. Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you, Leslie.
Thank you. Thank you.
3.1, the Plunket Trust.
I'm happy to move this.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Moved and seconded. Everyone pretty happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. Got the work down there. And the next one is the Wakarama,
I'll move there.
moved by Tim,
second it.
seconded by Dave. Any discussion?
Is the Coast Guard happy? Everybody happy?
Can I just make one amendment to my report there? I've just noticed that. Hi, good morning, sorry. There's just a slight error in the final expiry date. It should be the 28th of February, 2027. It should not read the 1st of March. So just note that
Okay.
small change.
You say the final expiry date's the 28th of February?
The final expiry date is the 28th of February, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Not the 1st of March.
Oh, that's what it's got in the resolution.
The resolution's got the right number.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yep.
sorry. Oh, that's fine then.
So has that been moved and seconded? I think so.
Dave.
Dave.
Can I just ask, so there's no issues around from the people around the traps? So like the Coast Guard's happy with this?
Yes, apparently they have been advised and are quite happy piece.
Okay, all good. Thank you.
I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is the streetlight improvements. Do we have James?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, James.
Morning, board.
So we have the report here. I'll open it for discussion.
We're just confirming that that street you talked about, is this Wallace something? What was it?
Russell Bruce.
Yeah, is that an Whangamata? Is that right?
Russell Bruce, it is.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure he's aware of it because he's not mixed up with
Oh,
Wallace.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Russell Bruce. Yes.
Because we have a Bruce Wallace. And we have a Bruce Wallace here.
Just a reminder that Whangamata is part of this board's jurisdiction.
Yeah, but
so-
it is, but we need to get the right street to put it into, yeah.
Okay, so we're really focusing on the 21-22 year. So the suggestion from that we've got here is Chevron, Turner and Wattle for this year. Are they all able to be done in the time frame?
Yes. Currently, yes.
Yeah.
Through the chair, what's the reasoning for them still being classified as low priority?
I'm unsure, actually. I think we just worked our way through all the high priority ones, and that these are further on down the list.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Looks like things that don't need to be done.
And the 22-23 list and the year after that, do we need to make a decision on that now, or is it only the current year?
You can change it at any time, understandably. It was just based on what budget of allocation we had available as to why we chose those. It was how we can spend the money that we had wisely, out of the list.
Yeah, my preference would be that we only deal with the current year and let the new board decide on future years' allocations.
But they would still stay there for them discussion.
Oh, they can stay there, but we only make a decision regarding the current year to get on.
Agree.
Just a question, you got the componentry?
I'm pretty sure we do, yes.
Okay, that's a good sign.
James, can I just, through the chair, can I just ask whether we can add to this list?
Yep, no problems at all.
Island View Reserve, when you come down from Pippi Road and turn right at the end by the reserve, it needs a street light there. It's very, very dark there. And
So Island View Reserve?
Yes.
Onto Pippi Road?
Yeah, so whether it's an extra pole and put in a light, or whether it's something that can be put in when they put in the Island View car park, and use that to advantage. But it definitely does need a light in that area there. It's very dark.
That's cool. I'll get that.
Yeah, a double light may even be.
Okay, I'll get that. I'll get a price for that, and we might be able to put it on this list.
Thank you.
Could it be looked at in conjunction with the car park?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than coming out of this budget?
Yeah.
Sure.
If there's sufficient budget in the car park budget.
And there is actually that extra.
It'll probably shine into this.
Okay, we'll just focus on this, please. So if we go to the resolution, so what we want to do is under 1, I'll move item 1, and item 2, I'll put a full stop, proceeds with the program for 21-22 for Whangamatā, and take out the words for the next 3 financial years. So we'll just deal with the current year, and the next board can decide on the following years, but they can have this as information. Is everyone happy with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Seconded by Dave. Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour?
Aye.
Against? Carried. So Chevron, Turner and Wattle. Thank you. Thanks, James.
Fabulous. Thanks very much. Bye now.
And the next one is, we've done the work program.
The action schedule.
The action schedule. So I believe you want to add some things to the action schedule, Terry.
Yeah, a couple of things. when you're ready.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so 2 action points. Because we can't get a motion on the books and we need that time, these are actions to go for the 5th of April Community Board meeting. So the first one I'd like to talk about is the Community Board supports the request for TCDC Property Manager to prepare a report for the 5th of April Community Board meeting to consider the redesignation of land at 101 Insley Road from commercial to residential status to future-proof protect the land.
So residential or reserve?
To reserve.
You said residential.
Oh, sorry, reserve. Sorry, reserve. Commercial to reserve status. And that status would be designed so that the reserve allowed the function of our community facilities. So that was one I'd like to chuck out as an action point. The second one is that, and it followed on from Len Stott's discussion this morning over the waste minimisation contract, is that the Community Board recommends Council support the 4 district waste transfer stations to be removed from the waste contract tender process and set up to be operated by a district-wide trust to manage the recovery of materials that can be reused and avoid going to landfill. And I can flick these 2 if you want to do them.
Yeah, just through the chair, is that going through as a notice of motion like we discussed before?
Going towards the 5th of April's board meeting as a motion to go on the books.
Yep, so you can put that line in that motion.
Oh, I can put it in there?
Yeah,
Okay,
as a
right,
resolution.
If we're happy, I can put those in words and send that to Esther. Is that
Take advice from Esther and Eileen, the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So is everyone generally happy to have reports for the actual meeting on those 2 matters?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, that's hopefully gives staff enough time to do the necessary groundwork and bring back reports. Okay, is there anything else on the action schedule people want to discuss? A number of them have been closed. Most of them have been closed. So, okay, if not, then, so do we need to, move to receive the report, seconded by Kay. And do we need to pass a resolution in terms of Terry's? Or?
They're just action schedules, aren't they?
We did,
Yeah. Okay, I'll put that. All those in favour? Against? Carried. Right. Oh, we've made good progress. Because Bruce wanted to get out of here. Okay, come to members' reports. Starting with Gary.
Well, there's been a fair bit of happening in the council chambers with our chief executive, I think, departing in the country on this Friday, or thereabouts, and he formally finishes on the 3rd of March, so there's lots been happening there, and I'll say no more.
Okay. Okay. No.
Oh. Other than complaints from community, which I sent on to Eileen.
Yeah.
Just pass them on.
Gary.
Yes, I got a few little things I want to update the meeting on, just really council stuff that's going on, but as Gary said, the CE is departing. They're doing, excuse me, they're holding an interview process for the new acting CE, who will most probably be in a role till September maybe. And then straight away they're going to start the process of electing a new CE. So there's a process in place. We've brought in a outside consultant help, a guy called Paul Loop or something. Paul Loft.
L-O-O-F.
Yeah. So he sounds like he knows what he's talking about, and we look forward to the process going forward. And an announcement will come out tomorrow, we understand, of who the acting person will be.
No. Well, it's got to go back to the council. Yeah.
So we will know by then if something's going on. So we're getting onto it quickly, so we've got some consistency of control at the top and moving forward. Okay, a couple of updates I just want to do. So the Tairoa Skate Park it came to the council meeting. This is just information for you guys. It's been quite a controversial project over there. The council adopted the Veros 150 odd page report saying that Corey Park is the preferred location. A formal consultation asked the community if it agrees with the proposed location will be open on the 14th of February and run till the 8th of April. So that's in process at the moment, and that's for the community to decide whether they're happy with the council's option of picking Corey Park. Annual plan consultation comes out, and I'll give you the dates for that. On the 11th of March, the 11th of April, annual consultation will take place. On the 2nd to the 4th of May, the hearings will take place for the submissions. And on the 31st of March, the council will do deliberations on those and sign on the 28th of June, the annual plan for the 2022-23 year. There is a couple of heavies in there, or some discussion around wharves and boat parking charges, which there is a desire to increase those charges, and they will be looking for people's feedback on that as it comes through the consultation process. The other one's the Capital Works program. As you know, we had a very, very large capital works program for this year, and we ain't going to do it. So $20 million of programs, roughly, of work that won't get completed, and that means that we're going to have to hard look at those projects before they roll over to next year or they drop out of the system. And that's going to be some quite involved discussions with council over those projects. Also added that is the inflation rate's been risen from 3.5 to 5.2, and that costs have gone on top of those projects. So already they're starting to gain momentum and cost. Enough on that. The shoreline management plans that's been going. It's a 3-year project and it's coming towards its conclusions. They were going to have a meeting in February the 10th and it's cancelled and it's been pushed out until March. That's when the plans will start to come together. And it's a big thank you for all those who've been involved with the on the coastal panel units from around the district, having their input into that discussion, which will end up being a piece of paper with a whole lot of trigger points on when things happen. I don't know what the budget is going to be tied to it, the money around it. We've yet to decide that, but there's some substantial numbers being talked about. Freedom camping. Freedom camping bylaw is not a bylaw at the moment. So it actually missed out on getting reviewed, so there's no bylaw of freedom camping at the moment. And those submissions that were put in pre-Christmas for the freedom camping bylaw will be carried over, and when the council starts a new process of looking at that. They are going to wait, the government's looking at this as well, and they might come back with some rules or suggestions that we should consider when we look at our local freedom camping bylaw. We're waiting to see for that. Transportation on the South East Ward, we talked about that. That's now being considered under the Regional Council's proposal, and we'll wait to see the outcome of that. Elections. Elections are coming this year for those who are interested. The dates of those are, you can stick your name in the hat on the 15th of July. In August, the nominations close. Final electoral roll certification on the 12th of September. Voting places on the 21st of September. Voting closes on the 8th of October and results on the 14th of October for next year. Good luck with those. If you want to put your name in the hat. And the last one, I think, here's the tsunami sirens. I don't know if you know what's going on here, but I've got a new project called Whisper. Whisper is a new communication network that allows those people who have got poor internet or phone coverage that this communication will get to them and contact them. It's been trialled, I think, through the staff, and Pam Boggs playing the leading role here and putting it together and checking it out. It's run together with Regional Council And is the National Emergency Management System part of that as well? It is, thank you. Yes, thank you, it is. So it's all part, it's a recognised method of communication, and it sounds like quite a positive way. There are some areas that still want sirens, and working away on that, and we'll see what happens with them. And that's me.
Thank you, Terry. Comprehensive as usual. Just a few things from me. Well, I'm sure you're all in the same boat, but had lots of discussions with residents and ratepayers over the holiday period on various matters, and a number of the service requests which I've passed on to council. But it was quieter than I anticipated, even though there were a lot of people in town. I'm going to be away from approximately the 16th of April to the 16th of March to the 19th of April, which will include the next board meeting. So Dave will chair that one for us. So I'd like to keep that as a request for a leave of absence. Although I'm hoping that if I get Wi-Fi, I might be able to come online for the board meeting, depending on where I am in the South Island. I've had a letter from regarding the formation of a wastewater community liaison group, and so I've passed that on for being included in the next agenda for the board to put a nomination forward or decide on the liaison person for this board. That's probably all from me, although I presume that the board will be making comments if necessary or submission on the annual plan at our April meeting. Yeah. So, okay.
Can I just quickly put my moment to Eileen, that I will be away also in April for that April meeting. Be away from the 1st of April about the 23rd, so cannot attend that April community board meeting.
So we'll put your name forward.
Yes.
Will you be coming online?
No, I'm biking. There's no communication where we're going.
That's only for long.
That's good. Sorry, Kim, what were your dates again?
The 16th of April to the 16th of March to the 19th of April, plus or minus a day or so.
Thank you.
Just congratulations to the All Quarterly call for becoming an incorporated society. So I know that Eileen is supporting them with the next steps, and yeah, things are progressing nicely, so that's very exciting. Other than that, just lots of workshops around the future for local government and the RM reform, lots of feedback about Three Waters from lots of people locally, and yeah, that's about it from me.
Just in relation to Whangamata, I've attended several meetings there, and Eileen and I went to the AGM. There's about 3 or 4 of the members that did not stand this time, and some that were previous members have gone back and to do that. But on the whole, they're pretty happy with what's happening there. In relation to toes in the water, we've asked that we could have a couple of parking, disability parking spaces in close proximity to where people can actually leave their cars and go across to go into the beach wheelchairs. And there was also a comment made in relation to the toilets, the availability of them for disability chairs, that there wasn't much room there. Now, whether anything can be done in there, I don't know. Whether it's a design fault or that. Has this been brought up before at all, Eileen?
No, and those toilets have been there for quite a while, so they would have been there before the requirement for disability, but community facilities can have a look at that.
Who can?
Community facilities.
Okay, thank
If I could just add to that, Dave, too, also the hand wash facilities is not suited for a wheelchair, it's too high, so maybe they consider that too.
I've had several people concerned about the parking of the scaffolding company on the corner of Martin and Lindsay, where their trucks are parking within the intersection area, and requests of whether in fact broken yellow lines could be placed across that area of Martin Road and around the corners into Lindsay Road, just to keep them away from that. It makes it hard for people coming out of Lindsay or that to see and to make their turn with the trucks parked there. There was a query in relation to the pet disposal containers at the bottom of Durham, is it? Where they put in their waste from their pets when they're out walking, and apparently they've been removed. The containers that are used. Do you know anything about that?
No, but I have received that request, which I've sent on to Community Facilities for a response.
Okay, thank you. And just as I briefly stated before, we went to the Coromandel and spoke to Mike in relation to 101 and how they're working there. And it was amazing to hear the communication and the assistance that they have got from council in that area as opposed to what we've got. And we definitely are lacking behind. And it would be something that I think we should be pushing with council, that they spend some more time and money in our town to make things available for us.
I know what that is, but I won't say it publicly.
No, but it definitely needs work done on it there, because, you know, like I said before, the amount of people that are employed and the fact of pensioner places, which we don't have any assistance for, and even as far as transport, it's good to hear that regional council are looking at doing that, because that's one of our main problems here is transport in and out. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, well, that brings the meeting to a close. So, sorry.
First and second for me.
Okay. Terry and Kay, all those in favour?
Aye.
Against, carried. Right, now I'll close the meeting. Thank you.